Hey everybody, this is Fred Ricciani of TSC News right here in M&N. It's New York Comic-Con week right here in New York City, and today we're going to look back at our most fun times at NYCC and Wizard World. Celebrities, artists, cosplay, and a little bit of everything in between. What's up, everybody? This is Fred Ricciani of TSC Gaming, standing alongside our old friend Dale, the Gears guy, the Gears of War guy. Dale, it's been a few years since we last saw you at Philly Comic-Con. Still looking good. It's actually our first Comic-Con, and what brings you here today?
Actually, it's always fun to come out, always fun to converse with the community. But for me, it's about the kids. It's about having a good time. You know, just about repping Gears of War and doing what we do.
And how long have you been going to these things?
For about 3 years now. This is probably our second time here at Philadelphia. You know, it's getting better and better every year, so, you know, we're going to try and keep it a tradition and keep on coming.
And this is a kick-ass costume. Did you design this yourself?
No, me and a group of friends did. Some guys who work in the industry and myself, and we went ahead and got it done, got it detailed all up, got the lighting in, got all the props together. I don't make my own weapons. A guy from Blind Squirrel Props, he was able to go ahead and do this DBS for me, so a lot of props to him, but yeah, great job overall for everybody.
I'm certainly strapped. I don't want to, mess with you. I'm good.
You're good to go.
And do you work in the video game industry at all?
No, I don't. I'm an engineer.
Wow, great. So
I do a lot of design work and I do a lot of detailing, all the electronics in here and in my helmet and other things that you see. I went ahead and put in a lot of the paint, all that good stuff. So we work together, we get it done.
And what is the best part of Gears of War, in your humble opinion?
Oh, my God. For me, a lot of people would say the multiplayer, but for me, it's a story because I'm a very story-driven individual. It's really, they put a lot of heart and soul into it, and for me, it's probably one of the best parts of the game.
And on that note, what is the best part of Comic-Con for those that have never been to Comic-Con, like myself?
The best part of Comic-Con is probably the community. It's the people that you see here, because without these people, there is no Comic-Con. Without everybody here of every shape, size, color, creed, race, there is none of this. So when you come to something like this, look around. Look at the community that you're surrounding yourself in. If you like this type of environment, if you like this type of excitement in your life, come on out, try it. It's really a lot of fun.
Yo, we're just here today. I'm here with my wife. We're having a good time. Representing a little Overwatch today. Can't wait to get home, play that new Gears of War. That armor's still ready to go at any moment. So, next con, it'll be out there ready to rock. So I can't wait.
And we've actually had a couple incarnations of Gears. We had the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which was an awesome remaster. We're getting Gears of War 4, which is coming out this Tuesday. For anybody that hasn't played
now.
Oh, you have it now.
No, if you had the Ultimate Edition and if you pre-ordered, you got to play it early. So it's sitting at the house waiting for me, so I can't wait.
Okay, so Dale the VIP now, besides Dale the VIP.
We're all VIPs because there's a lot of us out there who have it. They're playing right now. I'm jealous. I'm real jealous.
So for any fans that haven't had a chance to play Gears, and admittedly I was a little late to the party, I loved it. What can you tell us about it that would get some fans excited?
The nice thing about Gears that's always been there since the very first iteration was that it took away the distance. So it made it more personal when you went out and you killed somebody. It made it more personal. It took it to that mid-range, that close range. You got to feel it. It was visceral. And it carried itself not only in single player, but multiplayer the same way. You go ahead and you hone your skills in single player, and then you get in multiplayer, and you just let loose havoc. So, that's the thing that's always remained consistent. Rod's done the same thing with it when he was at Epic, just like him and Cliff did it at Epic. They're now doing it with the Coalition. So, it's really nice to see that DNA has transferred forward into Gears 4.
Now, a lot's changed since we last spoke, especially esports, and with Gears of War getting in the mix, and all these shooters getting in the mix. Do you feel like the boom of esports has hurt or helped the experience for the casual gamer or like the regular gamer when it comes to shooting games online?
Esports is one of those monsters that comes into a game, and if you're not really hardcore, then esports is just something that you casually watch. If you are hardcore, then you look at it and you say, I can be a pro at this. I can go ahead and make some cash at this. And there's nothing wrong with that in either sense. There's certain things that are done with esports that I do like and that I don't like. I don't like the fact that sometimes it takes away from the casual gamer. It puts more emphasis on those pros and their loadouts and their matchups and what's cutting edge. And that does eventually trickle down into the casual scene, but not to the point where I feel that casuals really benefit from it. So, esports is good. It helps the companies make money. It helps them make more games. But I like to see the strong balance that you have a strong single player, you have a strong multiplayer, and then if it's warranted, you go ahead and you have a strong esports scene. As long as companies do it that way, and I think that Gears may be trying to force it a little bit because they see all the money that's with esports right now, just like with Titanfall. Titanfall, one of my other favorite games, those guys, they went out, they listened to a lot of their critics. Now with Titanfall 2, they're putting some esports things into it, but now they've got a single player. Now they've got a more robust multiplayer. Now they've got all these things now, and they will eventually get to an esports. Just like with Gears now, Gears is pushing that focus. They see the money, but at the same time, they're giving us a brand new story. Yeah. Great tools, great functionality. Horde, let's not forget about Horde mode, because for us casuals, get together with a few of your buddies, and you get Horde going, and it's a great night.
And for anybody that hasn't been to any of these cons, I've been going for the last few years. You've been going for a long time, doing your thing, looking good right here. What can fans expect, and any tips as far as what they should do coming in there? I mean, not everybody, of course, can be that Gears guy or that Overwatch guy, but how can they make the most out of their con experience?
Honestly, when you come to a con, you have to remember a couple really important things. Shower. Please, shower, use deodorant. It's important.
Please.
For all of us, it's important. But honestly, stay hydrated, make sure you have food. Nobody wants to pick you up off the ground, because it will happen. And you need to make sure that you take care of yourself and be safe. Be safe while you're out here, be safe while you're at the cons. Be aware of your surroundings, especially in a big con like up in New York. Stay safe, guys, but have a good time. Remember, it's not about judging. It's not about looking at somebody and looking down on them. It's about a bunch of geeks and nerds getting together, having a good time, expressing something that we love in a lot of different ways. Have fun, enjoy yourself. But remember, don't take it too seriously. It's not that important.
Where can fans find you online?
If you go on Google and you search for That Gears Guy, just all one word, That Gears Guy, I'll pop up with no problem. It'll pop you up with a link to my Facebook page, my Tumblr, all that good stuff.
I'm doing great. We have a great show over here. Look at all this stuff over here. Along with the Transformers, we got Bandai Namco, and I have a lot of interviews today.
We got Capcom right here. We have Konami. They had a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament going on. It has been insane.
Right, so this is a mechanized diesel punk scale model that I've made. It's a walking tank. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and this year I finally got one that I can produce, and it's going to be a resin kit. I'll have a Kickstarter for this next month, November, and the kits will come as without any soldering, so you don't need to know any soldering to put all the electronics together. And the kit can be all screwed together, no gluing as well. Either that, or you can get it fully painted and assembled like this. And so there'll be two options, at least two options that you can get this in. When you get this assembled, it comes in this box over here, and it'll be shipped over from across the pond.
I'm just curious, how's the scene in Singapore as far as Comic-Cons and any exhibitions like this?
Yeah, we have a Singapore Toys, Games, and Comics Convention, but it is a lot smaller. It was just last month. But it's a lot smaller. I mean, New York has like 3-4 times the number of people just living in this city, and everybody here is just really great and really enjoying, the cosplay and all the geeking out over here.
The con's actually always good. It's just that it's getting more and more, I guess, crowded and overcrowded in certain times. But the guests are pretty good. But yeah, it's just very, very crowded.
You've been just walking around in Zack Ryder swag. Yeah, I've seen you get more reactions and more pictures being dressed as Zack Ryder than some people that are dressed as Deadpool and have all these crazy costumes like Star Wars and everything. What's the power of the broski like?
It's the truth. When someone says woo, 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 you say you know it back to them.
You came all the way here from Portland, Oregon, selling this awesome product. Now, I don't drink, but this inclines me to drink. Maybe I'll put some seltzer water in here. This is the Bartendo cartridge / flask. Dude, how'd this awesome concept come about?
Well, basically, I was trying to think up my first, product. I wanted to go into a small business or something. I was like, okay, what am I really good at? And I was like, retro video games. It's like, what else am I really good at? Drinking alcohol. So, kind of merged those two things together. And we've been coming to shows like this. And after we got kickstarted in 2013 with the flask, Then we've been expanding labels. We just dropped 2 new labels. It's Bottle Toads and Contraband. They're actually pretty sick. I think you'll like them. Yeah, we've got 10 different parody labels. We just developed last year, too. We did another Kickstarter, which was, again, over 100% funded. And for the Warp Shot glasses, the Tray Force Ice Cube tray, the Kegaman Buster pint glass, and then the Capper Gun bottle opener. It looks like the old Duck on Gun.
Now, these cons have grown exponentially over the years. How long have you been going to these things, not just as a vendor, but just in general?
So 3 years, that's when I really started going regularly. We started, our first show was C2E2 in Chicago, and that show is growing. And then you got New York here, you had Fan Expo in Toronto. All of these shows have grown over 50%, over 100%, for some of them.
What can you tell us about IndieBox?
Well, basically, we're a monthly subscription service where every single month we're going to ship you a brand new collector's edition indie game for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And it's going to have all kinds of cool stuff inside, including the stuff that we all used to get in games like manuals and soundtracks, and then a whole lot more. We've done controllers and figures and posters, cloth maps, you name it, we've probably done it.
Very cool. Now, how did this whole concept come about? You guys have only been around for a year and a half, starting to blow up, got a packed crowd here in New York Comic Con. What led to all this?
Well, basically, we looked at the indie games industry. I've been in games for my whole life, working in games. And so we saw that indie games are a really saturated market. You only get games one way. You download them. And so we wanted to help out indie game developers and then also come up with something really cool. So we were like, let's bring back a really old concept, which is an actual box copy of the game. And so we just did that, and had a lot of sales our first month, and it's just been blowing up ever since.
And with indie games, what I love about it is they kind of take it back. There's some unique concepts, but you see a lot of games that are really retro-looking, like Galaxy and Extreme Exorcism. Do you feel like what's old is new again in terms of indie games in some ways?
I think there's a resurgence of all this really cool stuff that we used to do as a gaming community, but because of the bottom line being kind of what it is with bigger developers, that we've gotten away from all the really cool stuff. I mean, Collector's Edition now, you're buying it at eBay Games or GameStop for $150, $200. And it didn't used to be like that. Now you just get $60 game with a DVD and a half sheet of paper. That kind of sucks. So now what we're doing is we're packing all these boxes full of really cool stuff, and it's $20 a month.
That's awesome, man. Well, 5 years from now, where do you see IndieBox going, as well as the indie games industry?
Hopefully we're supporting indie game developers in a lot bigger capacity. We would love to be able to just basically provide all the profits that we get from all this game and just shoehorn different developers into the next level of their game development careers. And we would love to do even bigger and better boxes as well.
That's awesome, man. Where can fans find you online?
On Twitter and Facebook at The IndieBox, and then also at www.theindiebox.com.
Fred Ricciani here for the SportsCourier.com, joined by a very special guest, one of our all-time favorite guests, Diamond Dallas Page. How you doing, Dallas?
Unstoppable, brother.
And what brings you here to the Wizard World Comic-Con in Philly?
I was signing a bunch of autographs, seeing a lot of the fans. It's cool because I get to talk to a lot of people who come up to me and go, dude, I'm doing DDP yoga. I love it. Or I saw the video on Arthur, that Never Give Up thing was awesome. So, that video, and I'm sure you'll put a link up on your page of the disabled veteran I helped walk again, is over 4.7 million hits in just over 3 weeks. That's pretty strong. Changed my whole business,
And speaking of changing your whole business, we ask you a lot of times, yoga, and you said it's not yoga. What made you turn the corner and finally embrace yoga?
Well, really, DDP yoga, it ain't your mama's yoga. It's its own animal. It does have yoga in it, and I actually thought about changing the name completely from YRG and everything because of the wall that people hit with yoga. But when I started looking and did all the research on myself and everything that's on the internet, it'd be impossible for me to get away from the word yoga. So I just figured I'm going to embrace it because so many people say, DDP, how's your yoga? I go, it's not yoga. So finally I went, you know what? It is yoga, but it ain't the yoga that people think. They think that it's humming and chanting and all that, which I got rid of all the spiritual mumbo jumbo. Not that there's anything wrong with that for people who really love the namaste end of yoga. I get that because I do that too occasionally, but it's not what I love to do. I love to have a really great workout, sweat my ass off, increase my flexibility. I keep getting stronger and stronger every day. If you look at some of the videos I've got up right now of me doing the superhero push-ups, arms straight out in front of me, arms and feet coming off the ground, doing 40 of those. You know, if you do get the my psycho push-ups where I lower for 10, kick my feet in the air, and then do 10, 9, 8. I do 3 of those. My core strength and overall flexibility is through the charts. I'm 56. So what does DDP yoga do? It makes you unstoppable. It is the fountain of youth. Jericho was done as far as, back injuries. Herniated L4, not anymore, just headline WrestleMania. He got Santino, Kane, Titus, Ryback, Broski. But we got a lot of guys, 20 guys in WWE. We got over 15 guys in the NFL. We've got guys in the MMA. I'm going to be personally working with Bellator champion Michael Chandler. I've been working for quite a while on his comeback trail with Sean Loeffler. It's it's pretty exciting right now, and I'm actually going to go to Paris Island and working with the Marines in July, which is really going to be sweet.
Very, very cool. Now, I see a lot of wrestlers, as you talked about, are embracing. Man, what took so long?
Well, I think it took someone like Chris Jericho, who was injured, who was hurt and really thought he was done. And then when he saw the video of Arthur, the Never Give Up, he saw the earlier version of Never Give Up Arthur, and that pulled him in. And then when he started doing it, it was so cool because he'd call me up and go, "Dave," he goes, "I'm addicted to this." He goes, "If I don't do it, I feel bad, because it is the fountain of youth." And when he got a guy like Chris Jericho really put it over, his biggest star. I mean, he's not just a wrestling star. He's a rock star, Dancing with the Stars, had his own game show. I mean, he's a multifaceted, talented cat. And matter of fact, I just got a tweet from him letting me know that, hey, the guys from Men's Health and Fitness, we did an article on him doing DDP yoga, and they wanted to talk to me about, some of my thoughts, which is very cool. It's about making the infomercial for DDP yoga. It ain't your mama's yoga. It's going to be amazing, and we've already, we're $1 million company now. I mean, when that video came out, and it wasn't even geared at DDP Yoga, it just inspired the world. I've got orders from Dubai, and Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, freaking, out in South Cape Town, Namibia, South Africa, Chile. I mean, it's crazy how many places. If you're watching, watch the video that's right up here on the screen. Never Give Up Arthur. The most inspirational video you've never, ever seen.
DDPyoga.com?
DDPyoga.com. And you also get to be a part of TeamDDPyoga.com, which I'm on all the time. Go to DDP Yoga and check it out. That's all I got for you, Freddie.
Fred Ricciani for TSC News here at the jam-packed Jacob Javits Center in Midtown Manhattan for Special Edition NYC, run by the same people that put together New York Comic-Con, which is later this fall. But hey, we're here at Special Edition right now. We're going to show you all the highlights of this great event: cosplay, artwork, comic books, chaos in a good way, and much, much more. But until then, I think I'm going to grab myself some Walking Dead comic books. How'd you get involved in the industry?
I went to college at Pratt Institute, and I went for animation. Always wanted to draw comic books. I started working at smaller publishers. I went to Xenoscope, then Boom Studios, and now I work at Aspen Comics. I did Fathom the Elite Saga, and now I'm doing all new Soulfire monthly. Biggest influences growing up were hands down Jim Lee and Mike Turner. Both those guys influenced me, made me want to draw comics. Jim Lee with Hush and Michael Turner with his Flash covers, and then we did Superman, Batman, and then I went back and got into Fathom and Witchblade and Soulfire and everything they did. So working at Aspen now and working on his creations has been a dream come true.
And how great is this industry, especially nowadays? I mean, 10 years ago, there were comic conventions, but I feel like it's gotten so much bigger over the years.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the movies definitely bring a lot of people in, so the more people that get into this stuff and think it's cool, like we all think it's cool, it's better, and I love it.
So let's just say I had maybe 1/4 of the artistic talent that you had. Okay, maybe less than that. All right. What advice would you give me to get my artwork out there and have a successful career like you?
I would come to conventions. Bring your portfolio around. All you kids in college and high school that want to do this, put a packet together, bring your portfolio, show it to artists, show it to editors, and just get the ball rolling with meeting people and try to network. And also put your stuff online, DeviantArt, Twitter, all that stuff.
He's got an awesome book that he's going to talk about. Now, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right or wrong? A Writer's Guide to Creating Comics.
Right or wrong, it was a series of columns on Newsarama back in the day. Published it there for years, and then eventually took a lot of those old columns, refigured them, kind of cleaned them up, polished them, and put them into the book. It's for people that want to write comics, know they can write comics, maybe don't know how to get started or don't know where to go to do it. So I put together the book. That's a Bible for anyone that wants to write comics or make comics, can't draw them themselves. When I started writing comics 2001, 2002, I was publishing online in 2001, 2002. So I was in front of that movement. You know, you look at my series like Nightmare World, which has been published now by Image. What you see in the books is what I was putting online in 2001, 2002. So to me, it's just all about what do you want? What are you willing to do to get it? You know, so for me, it was just something, I love comics. I love the medium. I love how you can tell stories with this medium that you can't tell them in other ways. So for me, this was it. This is my only path.
And comic books has always kind of had its own culture. Do you feel like it's grown over the years with the popularity of movies and Walking Dead and all these other series?
Oh, unquestionably. You know, I first started going to conventions my later high school years and things like that. And even just since I started doing conventions regularly and things like that, the amount of change you see at the conventions, the mainstream recognition, things like Walking Dead or The Avengers and things like that. The diversity in the medium as well. Now, it's not just a superhero thing. You know, there's horror, there's comedy, there's slice of life. So yeah, there's just been this tremendous evolution of the medium and of the culture. So it's really cool.
Great artist Brian Kong, sir. You got a lot of great artwork here, as you can see. We got Walter White, Gus Fring, Jesse Pinkman, Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead. Just some awesome stuff. How'd you get involved in art?
Basically, I've been drawing since I was a kid, like always, you know, drawing the Peanuts characters, comic books, sports. So, you know, just pretty much made a career out of it.
And you're obviously very talented, but when did you decide, like, hey, I think I'm talented enough to make a whole career out of this?
Probably like 20 years ago. Yeah, so I've been doing it for about 20 years, you know, freelancing.
And what would you say is your first big break?
Probably working with Marvel. Like I did some stuff with Marvel back in the 90s. You know, just like pinups, covers, filling issues, and you know, working on snowballed into like other companies and stuff like that. So.
We spoke off camera about the convention scene, how much has changed just in the last 12 months. For anybody that hasn't been to an event like this, can you just give us an idea of what it was like when you first started out and nowadays with Special Edition NYC and in a few months, of course, New York Comic Con?
It's changed a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people like now dressing up as costumes, like, you know, doing cosplay, and you know, they've been doing that too much back when, you know, when it first started. It was just basically more, you know, your everyday comic book dealers selling comics. And now it's you know, all types of media, like, you know, toys, comics, graded comics. You know, you have artists at the show, more artists. So yeah, it's changed a lot.
You know, just as a kid growing up, my parents gave me $1 a week, and me and my brothers pooled our money together, and the only thing we could get was comic books. So, you know, it freed our minds and took us to places that we couldn't imagine before, and then we started making our own. So I've had some good opportunities. Worked on books like Secret Identities and Shattered, which has been the best thing I've ever worked on. It's considered like a groundbreaking book, and it's required reading in some colleges, which is pretty cool. It's the Asian American Superhero Anthology, so we assembled some of the top Asian American talent in comics to create original Asian American characters and heroes, which we felt it was very lacking in the industry, believe it or not, because from an industry with such a strong Asian American creator base, there really aren't that many heroes you know, depicted in these stories. So we're very proud that we got to help that cause. I think as an Asian American, he's always been around and he will never go away. He's very much a part of our culture. He's impacted, I think, the world. To this day, I think he's the only person ever to be accepted by everyone in the world. You know, he's not made fun of by anyone in the world. I mean, obviously, he's got a very heavy influence on what I would like to be doing. He's a pioneer, a trailblazer. not just for being able to beat up anybody, but for having the courage to do what he did, to take the film world by storm, if you will. He created martial arts movies in America, and he's still, I think, barring Jeremy Lin, he's the only Asian pop culture icon around.
My name is Thought Admiral Kathas Epitai Rustaj of the Imperial Klingon Forces, and we're here to recruit for our organization.
And I understand the people to your left are new recruits.
Yes, they've only been with us a few short months.
I am Lieutenant Kezar Testai Rade. This is my offspring. Speak.
Queso Tai Rade.
I saw an ad for a different organization at the time in Starlog magazine. And I said, I've never played Klingon. I was 16 years old at the time. So what the heck? I'll give it a try. So I joined this other organization, worked with them for 4 years, saw how they did things, and they weren't acting quite right. So we decided, the entire group that I had at that time, we had 53 people strong in Rochester, New York, where this all started. And then we formed the IKF. And since then, we've grown over the last 18 years. But it all came from watching it as a kid.
My name is Tony, and I'm a biker scout from the Star Wars films.
I won't mess with you. You are?
Vince Tyson, but you may know me as Batman.
I see you got the Batman voice. Take that, Christian Bale. And you are?
Hi, I'm Tiffany, and I'm here as White Tiger. She's a Marvel character. Well, I actually started cosplaying because a friend of mine requested that I work for her at a Comic-Con, the New York Comic-Con. And in doing that, I started discovering more and more characters. And as I researched them, I started finding ones I really loved, like White Tiger. And now it's just fun to come out, dress up, take pictures, interact with people, and then start discovering new characters and new stories. So it's fun.
Well, I'll get y'all out here on this. For people that haven't been to Comic-Con, what is the best part?
Oh, it's definitely different for everyone. For me, it's the crowds and the looks on people's faces as they're having fun.
It's the cosplay, and also you also get to meet celebrities, and also and make new friends with fellow cosplayers.
I think a part of it is kind of seeing the celebrities in a different environment, like, oh, they're real people, they're face-to-face with me. But then it's also interacting with other people and finding out, who's a fan of what, where is this coming from, what other artists are there out there I've never seen before. And it's just like getting an experience that you never would have had before. So
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Stay tuned next week for our interview with UFC fighter, New York's own Aljamain the Funk Master Sterling.
Thank you.